Hi, Danny from Deadlifting Fitness. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about hinging at the hips. For me, and so my experience, I find hinging at the hips probably one of the single most important things that you can learn in when you're learning to sort of start strength training, or even if you've already started strength training and you've never done it before. It's definitely worth taking some time and really learning how to do it effectively. So hinging at the hips is pretty straightforward. It's simply flexing of the torso and extending of the hips, which sounds really straightforward, but because most people, or certainly people that I've come across, are the vast majority quad dominant and you don't really use that well the glutes and hamstrings. Basically what happens in say for example a squat or a deadlift, they've hinged forwards and they're in this position, and when they start lifting they're actually lifting from the back as opposed to using and extending through the back, rather than lifting through the glutes and hamstrings and using that as the main muscle to extend the hips, which it should be. So learning how to hinge at the hips effectively can improve your squats, it can improve your deadlift, it can also improve your kettlebell swing. It can also improve really powerful movements as well, such as Olympic lifting and sprinting. And overall, it's just basically getting your muscles to fire properly in the correct order to prevent injury and increase your power. And ultimately, you're going to get stronger and develop your muscles properly, really. So there's a couple of reasons why people can't do it, or certainly some of the reasons why I've come across that people can't do it. People just simply haven't been shown. People kind of just go and squat and they kind of give you the usual techniques when they kind of don't really look at. They kind of look at the movement. They kind of look at it as an exercise, and the goal of it is to shift the weight. Whereas what we do here at FSD Fitness, and certainly what I do, is I don't really worry too much about the weight. I worry about the movement, and then let the weight kind of take care of itself. So anyway, so with that in mind, a couple of reasons why people can't do it. They might simply just not have what we call the neuromuscular coordination, which is basically the nerve transmissions just aren't that effective and just not going to be able to sort of get the muscles to contract properly in the correct order that we need them to. They may simply have never been shown, or they might just simply be quad dominant, or they've never done it before. So so no matter where you are in your sort of strength and fitness journey, it's definitely worth sort of taking some time and learning how to do it. So it's a really simple move. In order to do this well, in order to learn a skill, what I kind of always say is you have to remove the weight really out of the situation. So for example, if someone's squatting and they're squatting heavy and they keep on getting little niggly back pains, and you kind of look and go, you know what, it's you're using your back, you're not really using your glutes to extend your hip, then rather than, depending on the situation, you've got to really unload it, because some people just might go, oh, I'll take a couple of templates off or whatever. Then you're still worrying about lifting the weight, not worrying about the movement, where we want to teach movement and movement patterns. So in order to do that well, remove the weight out of the situation and focus solely just on the movement. So how do you do it? Or certainly one of the ways that I found is probably one of the most effective ways of coaching it is to use a wooden stick or a plastic pole or whatever. It doesn't really matter really. But effectively use this because you get a nice little bit of feedback from it, just from what I'm about to show you now. So basically how to set it up. I'll kind of do this sort of a little bit side on so you can see. So ultimately you want your feet where you would normally squat or deadlift, so about shoulder width apart, and then basically what you want to do is put the pole down the back, okay? So you want it right at the bottom, so it's touching your coccyx, and hold it in place with one hand, and then up at the top, and then up at the top, and hold it in place with the other hand, okay? So you see that? Okay? So feet shoulder width apart, and then simply from that position you want to stand up nice and tall, okay? And then basically all you do is literally make sure your legs are slightly soft, okay? So not completely locked out, but not too bent either. So slight flex in the knee, and then literally all you want to do is push the hips back. So you notice the weight going to the heels, okay? And you want to flex forward with the torso, all right? So as you can see, the bottom of the stick is still in contact with the back, and the top of the stick is still in contact with the shoulders, okay? Top of the back, sorry. And you want to go as far as you can till you feel the position where you're going to start losing a little bit of stability, okay? Or you're going to feel it in the hamstrings, or you just simply can't go any further. So it doesn't matter if this is here for you, or all the way down here, wherever you are, that's where you are, that's where you are. Just deal with that, and you know, as your mobility increases, the range of motion will also increase, okay? So don't force it, just go to as far as the range will allow, and your body will allow, sorry. So that's how you do that, okay? So a couple of things that we're gonna look at, a couple of common faults, okay? So I'll stand a bit more side on for you. So basically, as you hinge forward, a lot of people I'll see, they kind of go from here, and then they'll go like this, and as you can see, I've created like a massive gap at the bottom of my back, okay? So this is ultimately, and then, so imagine now we're in like a squat position, even though it kind of looks flat, I'm going to be lifting from the back and extending through the back rather than punching through the hips, okay? So this is why we use a stick, is you get a nice little bit of feedback from it, okay? So, the other thing as well, as people go down, they kind of go through this little turtle back thing, kind of going through. You see this quite a lot where that's not going to work as well. So really it's definitely worth working with a partner and just going through that movement and getting a little bit of physical feedback and a little bit of verbal feedback just to make sure everything's doing what it should be doing, okay? So once you've kind of flexed the hip or extended the hip back or pushed the hip back, sorry, okay, when you're in that position, what you want to do now is literally just push the hips forward, okay? So that again, so hinge at the hips and then push the hips forward, okay? One of the key things that one of the faults that I kind of see quite often is when you're in that position, what they'll want to do is normally just come straight up. So we kind of get in this position and they'll kind of go like that and automatically engage the back to come up, which is not what we want. It's the hips going back, that flexion of the hips, and then pushing the hips forward again. Okay, so it should be the glutes and hamstrings doing it. You really have to be patient with this. It's not something, if you're not used to this, it's definitely not something you're going to pick up overnight. It's going to take a good long while, but it's definitely worth sticking to. Just purely because you're going to save yourself a whole heap of backache potentially in the future. So it's definitely worth sticking to. In terms of training and practice, I would say keep the reps quite low in the learning process, just purely because it's going to take an awful lot of concentration. So probably down sort of towards a 3, maybe 5 reps, and maybe do 4 or 5 sets of that. Then once you kind of get comfortable doing that, then push it up to 8, then push it up to 10, and then push it up to 12, and then push it up to 15. When you can do 3 sets of 15 really well, okay, so the bar's all the way on your back, you'll be able to hinge at the hips, you understand and know what that feels like, and you can push forward again, and you can do 15 of those in a row really well. You can do 3 sets of 15 of those in a row, sorry. Then I would say, right, move it from there onto the front, push the hips back, and do exactly the same, okay? What you might notice at this point though, because we've moved the stick from the back to the front, everyone, well not everyone, but some people might get a bit carried away with going, right, I'm just going to lift it up and start lifting from the back again. Again, this is where you might need to bring your training partner in, just to sort of come and give you some cues. Once you can, again, and start them reps nice and low, and build them back up. Again, once you kind of got to the point where you can do 15 quite well, then you can start introducing kettlebells and using it as an actual barbell and going through that, okay? Hinging at the hips, really important, definitely worth some practice, definitely worth sticking with. Try not to get frustrated with it, stick with it, and you'll be fine. Thanks for watching.